welcome to episode 82 of the Life in General podcast. My name is Nick.
My name is Ian. I don't know.
That's how you sound really enthused there, Ian.
Hey, that was enthusiastic. That was like...
That's why I was being serious.
Oh.
But you
wow.
sounded
So you threw me
enthused.
off there being serious.
Oh,
Shit.
Jackass. As always, any questions or comments, you can email them to contact at Life in General Podcast. On Twitter, we are at LIGpod. Check us out on Facebook. We're on Podbean, iTunes, Google. I think it's called Google Podcast now. They changed it, but I think that's what it is. But we're on TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Spotify, a bunch of other places. Go check us out. Oh, we're also on YouTube.
YouTube.
Have you watched any of the videos on YouTube?
A couple. I'm subscribed, so...
I mean, there's no video
I know,
to it. It's just our logo.
I tend to listen to the show on my car, so...
Yeah, I know.
You know.
But I do know, reading from some of the Facebook groups and stuff that I'm part of online, that a lot of people don't like using YouTube because they said there's really no purpose to it, or they really don't get anything from it.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't really. I'm not really doing anything.
Right.
It actually posts. So the through Podbean, which is who we use to host the show, it automatically uploads to YouTube.
Oh, does
so
it?
I'm not really doing anything.
Yeah.
All I had to do was go on YouTube and create a verified account.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a verified account, you can't post videos longer than like 10 minutes on there or something like that.
Huh.
So
and like you said, if you're not doing anything, it just gives people another avenue to listen to the show.
I mean, we do have a couple episodes that have gotten. I mean, obviously they're not more than like 50 or 60 plays, but we've got a couple that have gotten some plays on there. But it's like whatever
it takes.
If that's the way you find the show, so be it.
Yep, absolutely.
But it's another venue or avenue to reach people. So
Indeed.
Might as well use it.
Yep.
So episode 82. So this is our big vinyl episode for August.
It is.
So for much of the year, we've spent the first episode of every month doing a music show, and I think all of them have been vinyl shows. I think.
Well, it's because that's where we're at musically, individually. It's how we.
You listen to vinyl? Vinyl's so old.
Yeah. It is, but you know what? It's a tried and true.
Yeah, I know it is. Actually, I just had an argument with somebody at work not too long ago. Some, I don't know, millennial. I guess I don't want to be one of those guys that say that, but it was some just younger. She's in her early 20s.
Yeah. I go back and forth. I was. If it's a millennial pissing me off, it's millennials that day. If it's a baby boomer pissing me off, it's a baby boomer. It's baby boomers that day. Whatever it takes at that point.
Whatever I can kick around.
Sure, why not?
But she kept going on about. Well, I don't know, and I wasn't even like part of the conversation at first. I don't even know how vinyl or music came up, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Vinyl's awesome." And she's like, "Well, I don't know why people would spend their money on that when you can just." Buy a streaming service, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand the complexities of music, obviously.
Well, it's an experience, as we've said on the show.
It is. It's more than just the music. I mean, obviously, the music itself, like we've said on many of these episodes, there is a audible difference between listening to something on vinyl and then listening to a compressed MP3.
Right.
Obviously,
yeah,
it's without a doubt. But it's more than just the music. It's like you said. It's the experience of the whole thing.
It's the tactile experience. It's the artwork of the sleeve, the effort it takes to slide the record out of the sleeve, put it on the turntable to get the needles. It's just every part of it,
all the way down to the smell of new vinyl.
Oh yeah, and old vinyl. Old vinyl has a smell too that you can't beat.
Yep.
So it's like an old book. Old books have a smell too.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, this episode we're going to be talking about some upcoming August releases, which I was really surprised that there wasn't a whole lot.
We're still in that summertime.
Maybe that's what it is.
In the last episode too.
We're going to talk about some things we found on vinyl in the month of July. We're going to talk about if vinyl can ever regain a sizable share of the music marketplace. And we're also going to touch a little bit on the environmental impact of vinyl, which is a new topic to Ian. But guess what? Ian doesn't even know it's anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm just here for the fun. I'm here for the show, man.
Yeah, it always seems like for these vinyl episodes, it always seems like there's one topic I kind of spring on Ian.
Sure.
I think last month it was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing.
Yep, yeah.
So
I like surprises.
So as far as like upcoming releases, so there's 587 releases coming out the month of August, which I guess I should go back and look. It doesn't.
I think there's like 400 something in July.
Oh, was there?
I think so. I just listened to that episode within the last week.
Okay. So more than July,
I
but
think so. Yeah.
So there's 1, 2, 3. So there's 5 release dates in August. Well, this makes sense because there's 5 Fridays.
Right.
So the first Friday, which is August 2nd, I shouldn't say Friday. These are releases for the week. Most get released on Fridays.
Yeah.
Some are on other parts of the week, but I'll kind of lump them all together.
Remember back in the day when it was Tuesdays?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's Fridays. Do you know?
I really don't. I know they changed it within the last, say, 10 to 15 years, but
Yeah.
I don't really know why.
Maybe people are more apt to buy things on Friday because they get paid, maybe.
Perhaps, but they still keep technically like Blu-ray and DVD releases for Tuesdays.
So movie releases
have always been Tuesdays as well. So
and even digitally they are.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, because I know Endgame comes out on the 30th, which is Tuesday. Yeah,
okay.
well, I don't know. I think it's. I know it's the 30th. I'm pretty sure it's a Tuesday. But anyway,
well, I don't know how you can have 5 Fridays in a month if it's a Tuesday.
You're right. Duh. So what is that?
August 30th is a Friday.
Is it?
Yeah. We got a calendar right here. It's 2019.
Hey Ian.
Yeah.
July 30th is a Tuesday, so I don't know what you're talking about. Are you looking at?
You're talking about. I thought you were talking August.
No.
Oh.
Endgame comes out July 30th.
Oh, my mistake. I thought you were talking about August.
Yes. So if you're listening to this episode, it came out last week.
Yes.
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 Ian seemed really lost there for a second. So anyway,
well, I mean, it's just me.
So August, So August 2nd, the week of August 2nd, there's 171 releases coming out. There's really nothing that I saw that really kind of sparked my imagination. The best thing I could come up with was Wide Prairie by Linda McCartney.
Yeah.
I'm
not getting the feels for that one. I'm sorry.
Neither am I. There is a reissue of Kind of Blue by Miles Davis coming out. Okay. I'm not sure. They just had a
not too long ago
reissue last year.
Yeah.
I think it was last year. So I don't know. I'm sure there's nothing different about it. Just another repressing of it.
You don't have it yet?
Kind of Blue, yeah. I've got a mono like 2013, 2014 pressing, something like that. Yeah. That's all I came up with that week. August 9th, there's 109 releases coming out. River of Dreams by Billy Joel, the Translucent Gold is coming out. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of the album, but I don't know if I've got any Billy Joel now that I think about it.
There's a few I'll end up getting, but I'm not.
I'm probably more apt to buy a greatest hits of Billy Joel.
Yeah, maybe, but I think there's enough good songs spread out throughout his catalog to justify some studio albums.
Yeah. The Black Parade is Dead by My Chemical Romance, which actually there's a Record Store Day copy that came out earlier this year.
You just mentioned that recently.
Yeah, because I bought it on Record Store Day. Actually, that was one of the ones I had to hunt around. I found that down in Toledo.
Gotcha.
Which the Black Parade is Dead was the last concert of the Black Parade tour, so it was like 2007. It's a fantastic concert. If you're a fan of the album, which I am, it's definitely worth a buy. Skid Row is releasing their self-titled album, which I'll probably find.
Their original?
Yeah.
Okay. That would be worth a buy.
That'd be worth
just for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah, there's a couple of good songs on it. It's worth owning.
Yeah, I would say 75% of the album is pretty good.
Yes is releasing the BBC recordings from 1969 to 1970. Mm-hmm. So that should be. I'll check that. I'll probably stream that. I don't know if I'll buy that. And then
a lot of it's covers.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they started out as a cover band.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
they did.
Yes, they did.
Oh. Terrible jokes. Terrible jokes. I'm here all night, kids.
Yeah. We won't be.
And also Robert Johnson's "Rambling on My Mind" is being released. That'd be. I know you're a big blues guy, so
Robert Johnson's top of my list.
Yeah, he's definitely got some good music. Doesn't have a whole lot of music, but
no. He only recorded from 1936, 1939.
Yeah,
and then he died.
Yeah, it's only like 50 or 60 songs or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Not, I mean, well, it might be more than that. It might be like in the 70s, but still not a lot of music.
No, a lot for the time period.
There was a lot for the time period, obviously. But, what did he die of? Do you know?
I don't. I think, if memory serves, I actually think he was shot.
I don't know. I read about it. So when I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they've got some of his stuff there.
Did you ever see the movie Crossroads with Ralph Macchio?
No.
Oh, you need to watch that movie.
When you said Crossroads, you know what came to my mind?
I know what came to your mind.
Britney fucking Spears.
Crossroads, it was Ralph Macchio. God, what the fuck was her name? She was in a bunch of 80s movies.
Okay.
But it came out in like 1986. He's like this like concert guitarist. Like he's college trained guitarist.
Uh-huh.
But he has this like obsession with trying to find anything having to do with Robert Johnson and all that stuff.
Okay.
So he meets up with this old harmonica player who played on a bunch of blues albums. He's in like this retirement home. He says, "All right, I'll give you all the dirt, but you gotta get me out of here." So they breaks him out of the old folks home, and they go on this like road trip. It's really good.
Okay.
There's a lot more to it than that, but
what year did that come out?
86. I think.
Oh, geez.
So it's a fantastic movie.
But yeah, that's all I had for August 9th. Was there something you were going to add, or?
I'm just looking at Robert Johnson to see what he died of.
Okay. So I'm going to move on to the next week.
Yeah, go ahead. Because
the next week is really short. So August 16th, the week of August 16th, 135 releases come out. There's only two things to note, really. The silver version of Frog Stomp by Silverchair, which I've got a black copy. I won't spend the money for a silver copy.
Is it that much more?
No.
Oh, well, I might buy the silver then just to be different.
So that's coming out. I believe that's exclusively through SRC Vinyl. Okay. Which if you haven't checked out the website, it's actually a really cool website. They've got a lot of exclusives and stuff that they release, and they've got a lot of like hard to find stuff on there.
Okay, yeah, I've actually been on it. Quite a bit, but I've never bought anything from it.
So yeah, Silverchair's Frog Stomp's coming out, and also the Yesterday soundtrack, which I haven't seen the movie yet. I've been wanting to, but I haven't really I've been so damn busy.
Sorry, you said Yesterday?
Yeah, Yesterday.
Oh yeah, I want to see the movie too. I just don't know if it's worth the movie theater visit.
Well, for me, it's only $5 to see a movie.
Yeah, but still, it's the showing, time. It's
I know. My oldest, Jack, he was bugging me to see it, and he's been so damn busy this summer, and I've had a bunch of stuff going on, so I don't know if I'll actually be able to see it. I mean, I'll probably see it when it comes out digitally, but it's got a really good soundtrack, obviously. So that might be worth picking up. Were you finding anything on him?
No, I can't see anything about his death.
Just go to Wikipedia. Go to the.
I am on Wikipedia.
Oh, well, fine then. Damn it! I'll just move on then.
It's more just like the urban myths and stuff that have cropped up around them.
Gotcha. Well, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
We could probably do a whole episode on those. But
just on Robert Johnson.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
August 23rd, there's 86 releases coming out. Once again, there's only two things I really saw. America's Most Wanted by Ice Cube, and it's the translucent blue and gold swirl version of Monolith by Kansas.
All my Kansas, except for their last album that just came out in 2016, was all original pressings. So I don't know if I would. I don't have Monolith. It's a good album, but it's a good album by standards of other albums. It's not a good Kansas album.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the beginning of their 80s stage.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good tracks on it. I definitely want to get it. But if I get that one new, then I'm going to have to go back and buy all the other ones.
You don't have to.
It's
not a law.
No, but
I know.
For your
OCD purposes.
Yeah.
I kind of like the swirl albums.
Mm-hmm.
I've got. I was just listening to Razor Blade Suitcase today. Because the one I have is the 20th anniversary edition. It's a black and white swirl. It looks really sweet, but I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, when it comes to like these swirl albums, they're almost kind of like fingerprints. No two are going to be exactly the same.
You would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like dropping paint on a spinning platter. It's going to go wherever it goes. So it's kind of cool. You can think about, there's not going to be another one like that anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
So like as far as like the design, and the one I have is really there's a really cool design to it. So as far as Razor Blade Suitcase,
yeah, I might just pick up Monolith then. Just I think you maybe talk me into it.
Yeah, I mean, but there for a long time I wasn't a colored vinyl person because I'm used to back in the day colored vinyl it was the cheaper version of
stuff. Yeah,
at least that was the perception of it.
Right,
and that's not the case today.
No, and it's become kind of it's collectible.
Yeah,
in a sense. I don't know if it always was, but it is now.
I think it always was.
Was it?
Yeah. And then August 30th, the week of August 30th at least, there's 86 releases that week also. Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks, which they released a test pressing version on Record Store Day. But this is the actual standard reissue of the album.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I seem to have come across a lot of used copies of it, so I don't know.
Huh. I don't think I've ever listened to it. I mean, I might know some songs on it.
There's some couple of really good songs on there, a couple of really popular Dylan songs on the album. So yeah, that's coming out. Live and Loud, which is a 4 LP Nirvana album, but it's a Nirvana album, so you can expect it to be rather pricey.
Yeah, because all their other ones are.
I don't know why.
I don't either.
They're outrageously expensive. I mean, just a double LP is like $40-$45.
Yeah. Well, Incesticide's $52 at Dearborn Music,
and that's a double, right?
Yeah, it's double.
So this is a quadruple album, so you can only imagine what that's.
It'd probably be $99.99,
something like that. And then Americana by The Offspring, which I might pick that up. That's a good
I go
album.
back and forth. I was never a huge Offspring fan.
Neither was I. That was a good album.
I mean,
though.
they had some good songs,
but that's all that's coming out. I mean, like I said, it's not a whole lot for the month of August, but it's definitely some things I'll probably pick up.
Yeah,
of course, but hey, I was good this month. This
I actually was too. That's when we talk about our pickups for this month. I'm only going to tell you what I put in my want list because I don't think I've really bought that much this month.
Well, I was good. I only bought 18 records this month.
I have to think about what I bought.
And
I bought a few, but I can't remember if we talked about them on the last. Because I don't know.
See, what I always do when I prepare for these episodes, when we do our music shows, I just go on Discogs and I look and I sort it by date added to my collection.
You could do. I could do that, but I just
I know.
Added 136 albums on one night.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to.
I understand that. But that's what I do. I go back and I look at what I purchased in the past 4 weeks. Well, that's what I do for the show. But a couple of things when we did our it was our final episode for last month, right? The one where we talked about the things we were really wanting to find, like holy grails that we were looking for.
Our own personal holy grails.
Well, I got one thanks to my wife.
Yes, it's a birthday present.
It's some kind of present because it's a whole lot more money than I've ever spent on a record. But it's slowly going the way of the Buffalo. It's by MXPX. It was only released in 1998. I don't know how many pressings. I mean, it's late 90s, so there probably wasn't a whole lot of pressings of it.
It was very limited, I'd imagine.
And she actually got this copy from Japan.
Okay.
So if you go back to our last vinyl episode, you can listen. I talk about how much it's listed for on Discogs, and that's the one she bought. So if you're interested in how much you paid for it, but it was I'll just put it this way: it's almost double what I paid for my most expensive album so far. But it's a great album. I listened to it the first day. I opened it up and listened to it right there, and it plays great. I wanted to make sure, especially coming from Japan, that was fine.
Right.
But it sounds great.
Does it?
It's what everything I expected it to be, obviously. But
right.
And I'm glad I have it. Obviously,
when you put it on the turntable, does it sound like that kind of money?
It does.
Of course it does. I'm not making fun of it because I'm going to spend more than that. There's a record I'm going to spend more than that.
Oh yeah, because if you want Roots to Branches, you're definitely
I'm paying $200 at least.
Well, I think the cheapest I've seen is like $250.
It's listed
at least lately.
I'm looking at about $225 for a near mint one. There's one at least right now. There's one out there for $225.
That's actually not bad. Not for what I've seen it go for on Discogs.
I've seen it go as high as $350.
Yeah.
Not on Discogs, on Amazon. When I first found it,
okay.
It was listed on Amazon for $350.
I'm always leery about buying used records through Amazon, though.
Well, the sellers there are still kind of held to the same standard that eBay sellers are.
Yeah,
so.
but you would imagine that most of the high end sellers probably aren't selling through Amazon. They're probably selling through Discogs
or eBay.
Or eBay, yeah.
Typically, I guess it depends on what eBay's practices have fluctuated a lot, and they've lost a lot of sellers because of it over the last.
Well,
10 years.
you figure if you got a place like Discogs, which is a fantastic place to buy and sell records. Why try to mess around with eBay or? Yeah. I guess if you put things on, I guess there are people out there that don't know Discogs even exists.
Right. But you might come across that by accident and go, oh wow,
yeah,
$350. I never even knew it existed. I'll pay that.
Yeah. So I guess I could see why, but Discogs is a great place to go. I buy so much stuff from there, but
I've only bought the one, but I'll be buying. I've got 95 things in my want list right now.
You got more. I've only got like 70 some in my want list. But another thing I got this month, which is I probably wouldn't have bought it originally, but my daughter's a really big fan of the show and it has a bunch of great 80s songs on it. It's the Stranger Things soundtrack.
Yeah. What kind of songs are on it?
Oh, of course you'd ask me that.
I have 91 in my want list. 91 albums. And most of them, the ones that are actually 92, because for some reason I have a duplicate. But the vast majority of the ones, and we've talked about them, but they're all over $100 or really close to $100.
The Stranger Things soundtrack. It's got Every Breath You Take by the Police on there. It's got Should I Stay or Should I Go by the Clash. Hazy Shade of Winter.
But that's the. Not the original. It's the chick version.
It's the Bangles version.
The Bangles version. Yes,
it is.
And that sounded really sexist, but I don't know. The chick version.
The chick version. It's got Africa by Toto on there. So You Don't Mess Around with Jim by Jim Croce. Okay. A bunch of stuff. Whip It by Devo.
So it's not it sounds like it's a pretty good compilation.
It is, and it's a double album, so there's a bunch of really good stuff on there. Rock You Like a Hurricane by Scorpions. It's something I would never have on vinyl, but I like the song.
I like the song. Yeah, it's like you can't. That would be a good 45 purchase, actually.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
It is a good song, but the Stranger Things soundtrack was able to knock off some of those songs that, like I said, I'll never own the album because I don't like the album, don't like the artist, but I like one song by that artist.
Right.
So there's some of those on there. So it was a really good pickup. I thought I got a 1980 pressing of Tommy by the Who. I got an original pressing of Led Zeppelin 1. I did find a used 2016 reissue of Sublime's self-titled album.
I think you mentioned Led Zeppelin on your last show.
Maybe I did.
That's what I was, because I'm borderline.
Because I got I picked up Led Zeppelin, original pressing of Led Zeppelin 3 last month.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned my Led Zeppelin. I got Led Zeppelin 1 because I got a new pressing.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I still haven't fucking listened to.
No.
No.
Which one? The Led Zeppelin one?
Yeah, I figured since I was grabbing a Led Zeppelin, I just started the first and worked my way up.
Yeah, so. I listened to the original pressing I got. It sounds great.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, it's nice and old. It's still got great sound to it.
Oh, of course. I really like putting on old albums. As you know, we may have mentioned it on the show before, but everything that's pressed now is 180 gram, and those old albums are thin. And they just feel different. There's a different feel to them.
But what I was kind of surprised by with that Zeppelin 1, I mean, obviously the album's 50 years old.
This year.
There's very little background noise to it. Yeah. Very little of the static
album,
sound.
Oh, yeah, if you keep an album clean. If you keep them clean, they don't...
I mean, but it doesn't look like this thing was hardly ever played.
Right.
Because, an album, after 50 plays or so, it starts having a little wear to it, but there's really none to this album, so... I did manage to find Energy by Operation Ivy. It's an album that you and I, when we went on our tour of local record stores earlier this year, it was an album that I saw up on the wall, and I was like, oh, yeah, I should buy that. And I was like, do I really want to pay $25 for it?
Well, you'd already spent quite a bit of money.
A lot of money that day on vinyl already.
I think you bought like 15 albums that day.
It was a lot. So I was like, I'll buy it next time. And then I never fucking saw it again.
Right.
So I ended up finding it used at Dearborn Music on a random Sunday. They didn't have it in their video or nothing. Because every Saturday night, Dearborn Music here in Michigan, they put out a video of all their used vinyl that's going to be available the next day. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't in their video. I just went there I don't even think I went there for anything in particular. I just went there to flip through the vinyl, and I came across that, and I was like, holy shit. But this is it's not the same pressing that I saw earlier this year. That was a 2015 pressing, and this is a 2010 pressing I got. But so yeah, I was definitely happy to pick that up. I found it's a 2005 pressing of Die Die My Darling. Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting, it's by the Misfits, if you don't know. And what's really interesting about this pressing is it's the regular 33 1/3 on one side, and it's in a 12-inch, and you flip it over, and it's 45 on the reverse side. I don't think I've ever seen an album that's set up like that, where it's dual speed.
Mm-hmm. Not on one album, but up until very recently, I did not know that they made 45 12-inch 45s.
Yeah, 12-inch 45s. Yeah,
I thought it was all.
I think I've got another 12-inch 45, and then I also picked up the 2013 Record Store Day reissue of Benefit by Jethro Tull. Mm-hmm. I picked up the Translucent Red 2018 pressing of Pyromania, which I already had an original pressing of it, right. But I kind of wanted it's probably my favorite Def Leppard album, so I wanted to get a newer copy of it, and I like the Translucent Red. Sorry,
yeah,
it looks cool, and it sounds awesome. I picked up the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack. What else did I get? Oh, I picked up The Endless River and A Momentary Relapse of Reason by Pink Floyd.
Momentary relapse?
Huh?
It sounded like you said momentary relapse.
No, Momentary Lapse of Reason. And they're both really good albums. I was really kind of hesitant to buy The Endless River because there's only one song on the album that has words to it. And I didn't know this. I didn't know this till just recently, probably within the last couple of months, is after Roger Waters left Pink Floyd after the final cut, it's actually, do you know who wrote most of their music, most of the songs after that?
It wasn't a group effort? I thought it kind of was.
No, lyrically. Do you know who wrote the lyrics for a lot of their songs?
Wasn't it their drummer?
No.
No, I have no idea then.
No, it was David Gilmour's girlfriend. She wrote most of the lyrics for the Pink Floyd albums.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, which I didn't even like, and I started noticing that. Obviously, they only have 3 albums: Momentary Lapse of Reason, Division Bell, and Endless River.
Which Endless River doesn't even have any lyrics except for
the very last song, and it's a great song. Mm-hmm. It's probably one of their best post-Water songs. Okay. It's a fantastic. The whole album.
I like Learning to Fly off of.
It is. That's a good song off of Momentary Lapse of Reason. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I was really surprised at how well the Endless River is, and it was originally all the keyboard on it or piano was recorded when they were recording Division Bell. Mm-hmm. It was from the Division Bell sessions,
right? And
then after Richard Wright dies in 2008.
It was.
So I think it was 2008 and 20, and then when did Endless River come out? 2015, somewhere around there.
That sounds
2014. So it was recorded a couple of years after he died.
15 or 16, actually, I think.
Maybe it was that. Oh, well, I know they reissued a lot of their stuff in 2016. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. But anyway, what was really cool is those 2 albums make it I'm down to only 2 Pink Floyd albums I don't have, which is more. So there's the soundtrack to More, which I want to get. I've listened to that last week. Mm-hmm. It's actually a lot better than I thought it was.
Oh, really?
I don't have that, and I don't have Delicate Sound of Thunder, which is a live album.
Right. I remember when that came out, though. It was big shit.
Oh, Delicate Sound of Thunder?
Yeah. At least in my household, it was big shit.
Well, yeah, because it came out after A Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Yeah. It was that was that tour.
It was that tour, yeah. Was there anything? So I mean, but that's all I picked up.
I can't remember if I've mentioned any of the ones that I picked up In fact, I know I did. I don't think I really picked anything up this month.
No,
I mean, I put a bunch, like I said, I put a bunch of stuff in my want list on Discogs. A lot of singles, actually. We were talking about it before the show started.
Yeah, which is something that I need to look at more, because there are some Pink Floyd 45s I want to get,
right?
And I never really look at 45s when I go.
I only get them if it's songs that I don't already have on vinyl, specifically. Like the B-sides might be an unreleased track or something.
Yeah.
And there's another one I forgot to mention. It's not Jethro Tull. It's the 12-inch 45 to Hey Stupid.
Alice Cooper's
Hey Stupid.
It's a 12-inch 45?
12-inch because it's got It Rained All Night.
Okay.
Which is a really good song.
And that's kind of the thing that I kind of really forgot about. I mean, I don't know. When growing up, 45s weren't really popular.
No, not really.
They
I don't even think they're that popular now, really. They're just kind of a niche thing.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying though is they were 45s were never something that was in my musical sphere,
right.
Really. It was all 12-inch, so I never really paid attention to it. But there's a lot of like unreleased music that's only available on 45.
Right, and that's kind of what I was finding, and specifically, there's. And I can't say this isn't on CD, but The Decemberists, it's a 5-part single song.
Okay.
It's like 20 minutes long. It's called The Tane. I put that in my list.
Okay.
That's available for streaming, so I listened to it. It's
okay.
really good. And then I put a bunch of Jethro Tull in there. Well, not a bunch. Lap of Luxury from '84 is a 12-inch. It's got 3 songs on it that I don't have on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
She Said She Was a Dancer. That's a 7-inch. It's got 1 song, the B-side, that I don't have. And This Is Not Love. It's a 12-inch. It's got 1 song, but it's not available on the 7-inch.
Yeah.
So it is, but the 7-inch doesn't have that song on it. And I also put in Tull's Live at the Hammersmith '84, which I didn't know was released on vinyl.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff that maybe you want to get on vinyl on like a 12-inch, but the 12-inch is either you can't find, or it's so ridiculously expensive you don't want to pay that kind of money for. And sometimes you can actually find some of the songs on 45s, right. And you can get 45s for relatively cheap. I mean,
these are all like $5-6. Say $5.
There's a couple of 45s that I've looked at and want to get eventually that run in the $20 to $25 range, but that's kind of rare. I mean, you can get a lot of really good 45s for under $10 on Discogs. Yeah,
and these are just the CDs had these songs on it, but the vinyls did not because of the shorter spacing.
Yeah.
So even in 1984, when CD was kind of still in its relative infancy, Under Wraps comes out. The CD has 15 tracks on it, and the vinyl album only has 11.
Yeah.
So
oops, sorry.
So I'm and being a child of vinyl, but not a Tull fan at the time, or at least that much of a Tull fan, I always just grew up with the CD version of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of jarring to not have those songs available when I listen to it. And now I can. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because there for a long time, like when we first started hanging out, you didn't have a record player, did you?
No, my record player was long gone by then.
But you had Jethro Tull vinyl.
Yeah, I had all my dad's vinyl. Yeah. I wouldn't let my mom throw that out, but as much as she probably wanted to. Yeah. But she threw away all my other vinyl.
Well, yeah.
Most of which I got from her, which is really, fucked up.
Well, my parents threw all mine out when they moved back in 2007. Yeah. But I don't know it, and a lot of that. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. Well, yeah, probably a lot of it, maybe half or a little more than half of the vinyl I had back in the day was all stuff from my parents.
Right.
Which a lot of it. I don't know. Today I probably wouldn't listen to a whole. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida by Iron Butterfly, I probably wouldn't buy today, but I had that and had some other stuff that...
I had that too.
I had my mom's Neil Diamond albums and things like that. That's like...
You had Class Clown by George Carlin, I remember that.
Actually, you know what? I saw that used.
Yeah, I think they had it at Dearborn.
Dearborn not too long ago.
I bought Toledo Window Pod or something, I don't know. Toledo Window Frame. I don't know. It came out either right before or right after Class Clown.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as good, but I saw it. It was $6 at Dearborn Music. I picked it up. This was a bit while ago, but I have that because Carlin's my favorite comedian of all time.
I had my mom had she really liked God, what was the Uriah Heep. I don't think I've ever even fucking listened to them. She had a lot of their music.
Their music's okay. I found out about them because Ian Anderson played on one of their songs in a live concert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if they weren't touring together, but he happened to be there, and they brought him out to play on a couple songs.
Okay.
And they recorded the shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So on video and on, well, obviously video, on audio, but it's on video and everything. And,
well, that's cool.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, that would have been 2006.
Oh, so it was recent then.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, well, 2006 wasn't that recent ago. I mean, it's 13
years. No, it
to us, I guess that's recent, but to,
the millennial crowd.
A lot of the people we work with, you say 13 years, are like, I was fucking in diapers back then. Yeah. Don't remind us.
2006, yeah, some of them were in diapers probably. It seems like. Well, I wouldn't say that.
No, but
weren't diapers.
They were in grade school at the very
elementary
least.
School at least.
So yeah, it wasn't that long ago. That's how I kind of found out about Uriah Heep, and I've listened to their music subsequently, and it's not bad if you like that kind of music. It's somewhere between, say, Blue Oyster Cult and Kansas, maybe somewhere in that range.
Yeah, okay,
somewhere in between there.
It's an interesting range, but
yeah, I don't know. For what it's worth, their music's not bad.
You lose me when you say Blue Oyster Cult, but
right. Well, Blue Oyster Cult had some good songs too.
Very few.
Yeah, they had some good songs.
Okay.
Maybe not enough to justify buying their albums on vinyl, but I mean, Don't Fear the Reaper obviously
that's a great song.
That's their bread
and butter. They've lived
Burning
their
for
careers
You
off of that.
and Godzilla.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Burning for You. Yeah,
and Godzilla. That's another.
Okay, so I guess they got more. They got
a few. A few.
They got a few. But yeah, so I don't know. I bought a lot of vinyl the month before, so I tried to not buy as much this month.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't actually think I've bought any vinyl this month.
Yeah.
I really am. I worked a lot this month though, so
we both did.
Yeah,
so
I just wasn't. I wasn't feeling it.
And I'd say probably a bulk of what of the 18 records I bought, I probably bought 10 of them on one day.
The only thing I can think of that I may have bought this month would have been, I don't know if I mentioned on the last show, was the Raconteurs.
Oh, no. Because I was going to put that on my list, but I figured you'd talk about that.
Oh, okay.
So I guess you did get that. What was that? Help a Stranger?
Help Me Stranger.
Help Me Stranger, that's what it is.
Yeah,
which I haven't listened to it yet, but...
it's so good.
Is it?
Yeah, I just couldn't remember if I bought it this month or last month.
No, that was definitely... Yeah, that was
July.
This month.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in July.
I thought I picked up something else, too, with it. I didn't buy just that. I never buy just one fucking record. I don't remember what it was. It'll come to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've never bought just one album.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
No.
Well...
American Idiot. I picked up American Idiot, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I could probably go back on Facebook and tell you exactly what day that was, because I posted it on Facebook.
Yeah, I remember that now that you mention it. Yeah, that was... American Idiot's one of those albums you definitely have to have on vinyl. It's such a fantastic album.
You just have to listen to it. Whether you don't have vinyl or not, you need to listen to that fucking record.
Yeah, it's probably the last... It's probably the last great rock album, or one of the. I mean, I don't know. I would probably.
I don't know. I mean, you got the Greta Van Fleet stuff that's come out, and this Raconteurs album.
But I'm talking about.
It's really fucking good.
Yeah, the Greta Van Fleet stuff's really good. I'm talking about like in the stratosphere, like all time great albums. That's kind of what I'm talking about when I say the last great rock album. 100 years from now, people will probably still be listening to American Idiot.
Yeah, I maybe having the musical might assist that in some way. Have you ever listened to the cast recording?
I haven't.
I don't like it.
No,
but that's just. I mean,
you're not.
When that album came out, it did not leave my CD player for like 3 months.
Yeah, I was probably the same.
I mean, it was in my fucking car for 3 months.
That came out in 2003.
4, I think.
2004. So at least I had a CD player at that time.
I had a CD in my car and CD player in my car, And I'm not shitting you. It did not come out of my fucking player. Oh yeah, I bought them on July 12th.
Yeah, I knew it was in July.
Or July 11th. So
yeah, because Help Me Stranger, like I said, I was going to put it on my list, but I figured you were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that didn't come out of my fucking CD player for at least 2 months.
It's a fantastic album. So rightfully so. But anyway, we'll move on. I don't really know. There's nothing else I can really talk about.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a light month for me for sure. So I spent about $45 on records this month. I won't tell you what I spent on other things, but
when I go to the record store on Sunday, this Sunday, I'll probably spend more than that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I find.
I haven't decided if I want to go with you yet. I'm kind of waiting to see what the used stuff is, but
yeah, well, I'm sure. Yeah, but like I said,
I have a lot to do
I found that with that Operation Ivy album, that wasn't even in their video. I was just strolling through and found that. So
it's on their big picture. I don't know if you saw it on their website. There's a big picture with all their. I'll pull it up again.
Because they got another copy of it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw that last week that they had another copy of Operation Ivy. Because Mandy actually tagged me in their post, in their video.
Oh, okay.
I was like, "Hey, do you have this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I found it there a couple weeks back." Because she knew I was looking for it. Oh, well, I talked about it in our last in the podcast episode, or our vinyl episode last month. So, so yeah, I mean, so this vinyl revival thing's been going on for about 11 years now, 11 or 12 years.
I'd say that's a fair.
So we're kind of at the point now where I'm like, okay, with all this growth that's seen, is there a way, or is vinyl able to regain a sizable share of the market? And I mean, right off the top of your head, I want to say no. Obviously, it's definitely never going to return to the days where vinyl was it.
But as far as it's been able to take enough of the physical media sales to at least justify itself.
Yeah.
As a substantial and viable product. It never will hit its peak.
No.
But I think it will surpass, and has been on a yearly basis surpassing expectations.
Yeah.
I think it will continue for a while.
I think record companies want to see it come back, at least in the physical realm. I can pretty much guarantee they would rather have sales of vinyl be head and shoulders above CD sales, because they're making a lot more money off of vinyl, I think, than they are CD. But then again, there's a lot less overhead in CD production. So I don't know. I guess it really depends on what their share of the sale is.
I think it's just nice that they're getting physical sales again, too.
To the level, obviously.
Right, because CDs were dropping off, and vinyl's already surpassed what CDs were.
Yeah.
So we're at their lowest, obviously, but vinyl is the physical media top seller. As far as physical media goes,
I think it's gone. I think it's like neck and neck. It's right there with vinyl, because I've seen some sources that say vinyl is still ahead of. That CDs are actually still ahead of vinyl.
I read an article that said that vinyl production had surpassed CD production.
But that's production.
Well, true, but if what's being produced has to be sold.
But what I'm saying though is the numbers I've seen are pretty close to each other.
Okay.
So plus or minus either way, yeah. But it's there, and it's both right. They're both it's neck and neck. I would say that if you want to go back, and we've touched on this topic before, if you want to go back and listen to us talk about the vinyl revival, that was episode 39.
Okay.
If you want to go back and listen to that, because I don't want to get into too much of the revival issue,
side of it. Just where is it now?
Yeah, but if you look at according to International Federation of the Phonographic Industry. I had to get that right. I didn't know that even existed. But apparently 2018 marked the 13th consecutive year that global revenue has increased in the vinyl industry.
Okay.
And vinyl, as of now, as of this year, vinyl is 3.6% of the total recorded music market.
What is CD?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm sure CD is probably more than that.
I don't know, because you have to look at it from a perspective of people who are buying vinyl are probably still streaming for the vast majority of them.
Yeah.
So
it depends on where I'm at,
because they're not typically not going to buy the vinyl and the CD. So if they're buying
Correct.
the vinyl, they're going to be streaming, most likely. Whereas people who aren't buying vinyl are probably streaming, and not buying the CD, because you don't get the same. There's no draw for the CD.
Correct.
People who are buying CDs are just people who've always bought CDs. And that's, I would assume, is a shrinking market. I mean, we've seen it; it has shrunk.
It has.
So I don't know. It just seems to me like vinyl is still, it's growing, despite there being streaming services available.
Yeah.
So I just don't see where the CDs fall in there.
Now, I would assume that eventually CDs will get kind of squeezed out of the market.
Yeah, I really do think so.
Because if you think about it, at least for a lot of records you buy, and it's starting to be fewer and fewer, but there for a long time, the standard was you'd buy a record and have a download card in it.
Right.
That's not really the case anymore. No. They've kind of gone away from that.
And quite honestly, if you are subscribing to a streaming site, you don't really need that download card anyway.
I've never used any of those download cards.
And you can digitize your records. Yeah. So if it really boils down to it and you really want to have a digital copy of it, you can make your own.
Yeah. There's actually one in particular that I bought on Record Store Day. It's a very rare album. I've actually held off on listening to it because I want to record it the first time I play it.
Right.
Which I need to get that done because
you want to listen.
I want to listen to it. I've thought about it a couple of times, but it's always something else that comes up. But
right.
So anyway, the week ending April 18th, 2019, vinyl sales in the U.S. were up 193% year on year, from 282,000 to 827,000 units sold.
Wow.
So I mean that's a big number. But you figure there's. I forgot.
And you bought half of those.
Yeah, that's weird. It feels like it sometimes. Yeah. But I was trying to say, I had somewhere in my notes how many records were actually produced last year, and I don't see it. Damn it. Maybe I just read it and didn't actually type it down. But anyway, so
it'll have to be in the millions, obviously.
It is. But the other thing is when you look at that 3.6% share, that number could really be underestimated because you figure many of the small record stores don't report units sold. So the IFPI has to rely on estimates.
What's being shipped from the warehouses.
Well, but that's not. They're going on sales. They're not looking at the production side of it.
Oh, okay.
They're looking at strictly 3.6% of sales.
Okay.
And also those numbers also don't include any secondhand sales, which potentially could be an incredibly large number.
Right, because we see it all the time.
Yeah,
we see it every Sunday.
Yeah, that, and I've bought secondhand stuff from eBay and things like that. None of that's going to be listed. Units sold from a band's website or their booth during their concert. None of that stuff's counted into that 3.6%. So that 3.6%, even though you could look at that, and I don't know the CD number, but let's just, for instance, say the CD number is 9 or 9.5%. That 3.6% of vinyl could potentially be 8-9%.
Right.
With all the other things that I said aren't being listed.
Into it, right? And what's recorded is obviously going up on an annual basis. And in vinyl sales and CD sales are slowly but surely dwindling down. So that line's going to cross and
eventually.
Yeah.
I did have it written on it. So apparently there's 5 pressing plants across the globe that are responsible for half of the estimated 160 million units produced last year.
Wow.
And obviously you can look at the demand. I mean, it's been increasing over the last decade or so. Until 12 to 18 months ago, there was a 3 to 5 month wait on vinyl to be pressed.
Right. There still is a wait.
No,
it's not as bad.
It's not. At this point, you're looking at as little as 6 weeks, depending on the number of units pressed.
But it's not like in the old days where you could record an album, in, say, 2 months and have it out a month and a half later.
No.
Now you have to plan. You have to pre-book getting your album slotted in within that 6-week period. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
But that's also why you've seen a shift from major labels to start pressing their own vinyl again for the first time in 30 or 40 years.
It shows the genius of Jack White pressing his own stuff.
Oh, of course.
Because
he's got to be making money hand over fist.
Right. Well, he owns his own. He has his own label. He has his own pressing plant.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really he got in on the ground floor of a very lucrative music industry.
But I was really surprised to hear that. So he's got a pressing plant at Third Man Records in Detroit, but Third Man Records in Nashville doesn't have a pressing plant there, which I'm really kind of surprised.
That's where he does his recording at. I was always under the impression that's where the recording studio was, and he did the pressing here. Yeah,
but you would think Nashville, it's Music City. There's got to be a lot of like underserved artists.
Yeah, but we've been there. We see what he has available. It's primarily local artists.
A lot of them.
And I don't know if there's really... It's local artists that are kind of in a group, like a blues rock kind of group.
Yeah.
Whereas Nashville is going to have a lot of country.
I
know they record a lot of other stuff. A lot of bands and artists record in Nashville. But to be that kind of niche...
Yeah.
I don't know if he would really have the options,
But I guess the other thing is you can really...
Plus, he's a Detroit guy. He's going to support the Detroit band.
Of course. But you can also... I guess you can record and have your stuff pressed anywhere, really. I mean... But
theoretically,
you because if you're an artist and you want to get your vinyl... If you want to get your stuff pressed on vinyl, you can go on Third Man's website and you can order your stuff through their website.
Really?
You can go on there and place an order for your vinyl. I don't know. But I did find... kind of along those lines, excuse me, would you have any idea what the top 10 selling vinyl albums of 2018 were?
Top 10 selling albums of 2018.
Just throw some out there and I'll tell you if they're in there.
Okay. Let's see. Something by Beyonce.
No.
Okay. Was A Star Is Born? Did that come out in 2018?
No.
Okay.
2017.
The soundtrack to Bohemian Rhapsody?
No.
Really? Okay. Was that at least in the top 20?
I don't know. All I got was the top 10.
Okay. I can't really think of much that came out last year, to be honest.
Because you're going to be kind of surprised. And this is kind of what I'm getting to, is a lot of it is older music.
Okay, like reissues and stuff?
So there's a lot of reissues. Mm-hmm. So number one's not reissue, but it was Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino by Arctic Monkeys.
Okay.
Was number one. The cast recording of The Greatest Showman was number 2.
Okay.
But once you get past there, you've got Rumors by Fleetwood Mac was number 3. Queen's Greatest Hits was number 4.
That was as a result of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay. Dark Side of the Moon was 5. So right there, George Ezra, Staying at Tamara's. I've never even heard of it before. Mm-hmm. That was number 6. Number 7 was Nevermind by Nirvana. 8 was What's the Story, Morning Glory by Oasis. 9 was Legacy by Bowie. And 10 was Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. So you've got all these. So kind of what I'm getting at is once you get all this stuff reissued, what's going to be pressing going forward? Or it's just...
Well, I think once people start getting a catalog, once they start getting a collection, then from there they go to what they like that's new.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is once everyone kind of buys this back catalog, where's the growth going to be? Well, where's the growth in the vinyl market? I don't think that'll
ever end because you're always going to have people who... You're always going to have that younger generation. It may be a smaller number every generation, but you're always going to have those kids that grow up and go off to college and they get exposure to music they never heard before, and they're going to buy Rumors because they've never heard it before.
Yeah,
because these kids, their parents grew up on New Kids on the fucking Block. They wouldn't know what Fleetwood Mac was. My
wife grew up on New Kids on the Block. She knows who Fleetwood Mac is.
Right, but would she have exposed the kids to it if you didn't? Is my point.
Probably not.
Beyond maybe if it was on the radio or something.
Probably not. I mean, I think I've probably had more of a music impact on my kids than my wife has. But
so
she would probably argue that. Well,
I think
I guess it's different kinds of music.
Different, yeah.
Because she's obviously introduced them to more pop music and things like that. And not saying that there's anything wrong with pop music. I mean,
some of it, but not all of it. Yeah.
Hey, I'll raise my hand as the guy in the room that has Justin Bieber on vinyl. I'm just
you're damn right. You're the only guy in the room raising your hand about that. I sure as fucking.
I'll go to my grave's hand. It's a good album. But anyway, I guess we've both had
varying influences.
Varying influences, but
my point is that if you say you're talking about kids who are not necessarily in our age group but closer to it, they themselves may have been exposed to older music, but most likely they grew up with stuff that we listened to in the 90s and early 2000s, which for better or worse is what it is. So their kids might go off, like I said, to college and run into somebody who grew up with a dad like you who has a record collection, and they're going to say, "Oh man, that's pretty good."
Yeah.
They're going to grab that copy of Rumors or Dark Side of the Moon or whatever, and they're going to,
Speaking of Dark Side, real quick, I will tell you, my daughter laughs at me when we go to the store. If we're like walking through, I did this just last week or week before with her. We were walking through Walmart, right? And first off, I don't shop at Walmart very often, but I didn't even know they sold vinyl there. So I'm walking by, and I was like,
mine doesn't. The one that's by me doesn't.
I was like, oh, they got vinyl here. So I'm like flipping through the vinyl, and I was like, okay. I pulled out every copy of Dark Side of the Moon and set all the way across the front. I was like, nothing can sit in front of Dark Side of the Moon. She thinks it's really fun because I do that when we go to. Well, if I go to Best Buy or something like that, I always pull Dark Side out and put it at the very front. But whatever.
Well, that's your thing. I disagree.
Ian doesn't see the brilliance of Dark Side of the Moon. I'm just gonna say that.
I see it as an alright album. I just don't see it. I think it's overrated as this brilliant masterpiece that you talked about.
Yeah. I'd be hard pressed to think of anything that's better. If I had to pick like definitely top 5 albums of all time, it would definitely be in there.
Yeah. See, it wouldn't even be in a top 20 for me.
Yeah. So. I don't know. But anyway, the top 10 of last year, surprisingly enough, I've only got 4 of them.
Right. Yeah, I don't have any of them. I don't think.
Really? You don't have?
I've never mind. You
don't have Rumors?
Nope.
Really?
Yep. I go back and forth on it because I'm not a huge Fleetwood Mac fan. To be honest with you,
I picked it up like 4 or 5 different times. Buy it, and I always put it back. I'm pretty sure I got a copy of it now, though.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I've done the same thing with their the first Fleetwood Mac, that's self-titled Fleetwood Mac, which is obviously not the first Fleetwood Mac album, but it's the first one with Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham.
That era of Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, and I go back and forth. I've picked them up. I put them down. I always end up not getting them. I just don't know if I'm ever going to listen to them. That's, it'd be nice to have them, but I want to have them if I'm going to listen to them.
If I'm going to listen to a Fleetwood Mac album, it's probably going to be Rumors. I mean, it's a fantastic album.
Rumors is the better of the two for sure. I like Tango in the Night as well, which is 87. And doesn't have Lindsey Buckingham on it, but it's got some good Stevie Nicks tracks on it.
All coked up, but
No, not by 87. She was pretty cleaned up by then.
No, I thought it was like late 80s when she.
No, she was early 80s.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much when her solo albums came out, she was in the process of cleaning up.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, and then like looking forward past vinyl, it's like so. This episode was going to be about vinyl kind of regaining that market share, and I started reading more articles about it, and I found this article about the environmental impact of vinyl, and I never really thought about all the things that go into it,
right?
And in all the hazards and the chemicals and everything else, because you really think about it, record production really hasn't changed in the past almost 100 years, you'd say, since the 30s.
We'll say since the 40s or 50s.
Really?
Yeah, because back in the day they didn't even press them. You had a vinyl plate. And it was all live. That's how the Robert Johnson stuff is recorded. It was etched. It was cut as they were playing it, and then
but still, 40s, 50s. It's still been a long time since there's been any kind of substantial change. And if you want to go back and hear more of the record making process, I'm not going to really get into that. If you want to listen more about that, go check out episode 65 of Life in General. I went through the whole process,
right. And you can watch it on YouTube. Actually, you can actually see the process.
But I actually like broke down the entire process. That's where we talked about HD vinyl, but the other thing is, I was reading the article. I guess PVC is banned by a large percentage of European countries. So you can't even press vinyl. You can't even get the polyvinyl chloride in those countries. So because I guess potentially it's a carcinogen.
Everything's a fucking carcinogen.
I know that, but
wood smoke is a carcinogen. So,
but could that ban eventually spread across to the U.S.?
Not with the environmentally minded people we've got running our country.
Okay, I'm not saying right now. But if something like that were to happen, what do we do?
I don't think it'll ever get to that point, because there's always ways to improve the setup. I think it's due for a slight revolution. I suspect at some point, maybe in the near future, maybe slightly farther down the line, I think they're going to find ways to be able to improve on the vinyl concept, whether it be being able to fit more on an album, or probably just in terms of capacity. I think that's one thing, but also in the processing, I think they're going to find ways to simplify the system, which can cut out a lot of that problem. Using recycled materials would be a good start without hindering the quality. Yeah,
because that's kind of what there's a lot of companies out there that have tried to do one thing or another, but it always comes back to sound quality. If you can't produce an album that sounds like a standard PVC album, no, you're not. It's not going to sell.
Right.
There is a Dutch company called Simcon who has produced. I don't think they've released anything, but they've trademarked what they're calling green vinyl, and it's a non-PVC that it doesn't use the harmful or toxic chemicals that are typically used in the record making process. And Simcon says that their new product uses 60% less energy to produce the vinyl and costs 25% less to make.
Okay,
but it all comes back to sound, and that's the thing. Is what's it going to sound like?
Yeah, it's not going to do anyone any good if no one's willing to buy it.
Yeah,
and just because something sounds good like that doesn't necessarily mean that it will. And if it doesn't, it's just if you switch over too fast, you can kill the industry. People just live off of what they've got, and we've kind of gone through that period before. If you were strictly a vinyl person and you had no interest in buying a CD player, your record collection stopped in 1987, essentially.
Yeah.
Benefit of the doubt, we'll say 91. So people have gone through that before. We don't want that to happen, but I really do think that there are people out there thinking about these things, and I think it's important that if we want this format to survive, we have to push for it. We have to put our money into it. As long as the sound quality is the same, I have no problem buying an album with recycled materials. I have no problem buying an album that's thinner.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. They're the albums that they have created. From the article I was reading, they did a couple of test pressings for the guy doing the article, and he said it definitely is thinner. It's almost like a flexi disc kind of thing.
Okay.
At least the one he had. And the interesting thing is it's injection molded. So they're injection molded albums that, if you think about it, it's not. You could potentially prolong the use of the stampers because there's less pressure because it's not actually pressing the album. They're just putting it together and then injecting the hot vinyl between them.
Right. But does that fill the grooves properly.
They say it does.
Because, I mean, we're talking microscopic grooves here to get, you know, and you're using air pressure. To me, there's a concern there with bubbling and things like that.
Injection molding albums is not new. Okay. They've done it before.
But it's not the preferred process.
No, it's not. It's not.
You know. But hey, like I said, there's new innovation, there's new ways of doing things. It's not necessarily about maintaining the old. It's about maintaining the sound quality and not losing the physicality and all that of the record. Yeah. I don't want it to be too flimsy, but I'm okay with thinner discs for sure. Yeah,
because there's definitely some issues that SimCon has run into, which are, you know, these injection molded records, they wear faster. Because like I said before, you can get about 50 plays on a record before it starts wearing. Mm-hmm. These are starting to wear about 35 plays. So it's substantially less usage that they're getting the wear on. And the vinyl mixture, because it's not a PVC that they're using, but this vinyl mixture that's used by SimCon, it's about 10 to 15 cents per record more.
Okay.
So there is higher cost involved,
but they're saving.
But they're saving it in the rest of the record process because it's injection molded. You're not using a lot of those same chemicals, but it's still the same kind of process. You know.
I guess my concern is that in the grand scheme, you don't want to make vinyl as disposable as CD.
Yeah.
Now, when CDs came out, they said that a single CD, barring any physical damage, would theoretically sound exactly the same today as it will 1,000 years from now.
Which it should.
It should. You're not going to get that with records.
No.
But it's all about improving everything. Not just making it environmentally friendly, but also making it better. Like I said, and expanding the capacity would be a good start too.
And that was the whole thing with HD vinyl. Is not only were they going to increase the capacity of the album, they were also increasing the range of volume that you could put on a record.
Right.
And that was kind of the thing that really kind of intrigued me about what HD vinyl was doing. The stuff that SimCon's doing, I think it theoretically could be a great start. For what's going forward. Okay, maybe not using PVC and trying to use these other processes, injection molding if you can get it to work correctly. But my thing is the sound. How is it going to sound?
Right.
Because at least with HD vinyl, they're saying, at least from the pressings that they've tested, there's no discernible difference in sound.
Okay. But there's people who say there's no discernible sound between MP3 and vinyl too.
I think that's.
I know it's
factually incorrect.
Well, of course, but we live in a world where that doesn't matter.
I know. We live in a post-truth era.
Yes,
but
so one person's perception, someone who may have a limited ear for that, because that's just human nature. To them, it may not sound any different.
And there are some records I've listened to that. There really isn't a huge difference between it and MP3
And I noticed that between the older stuff and the newer stuff. Like, when you listen to an older record, because it was all analog, everything was analog back then, and it's an older copy. Yeah, you listen to it. It's you could argue that it's MP3 quality, but that's where the other parts of the experience fall into, like the physicality and everything else. But you're right. The sound quality cannot be sacrificed. And I would argue that even the longevity can't be sacrificed.
Longevity as
in terms of wear.
Okay. Well, yeah. I don't want something that's, I'm not going to pay. I don't want to pay $30 plus for a record
that you can only listen to 50 times.
35 times. Well, 50 times is basically what you're going to get now.
I'm sure there's albums I have that have been listened to more than 50 times, and they still sound good.
I'm not saying 50 times they play fine, and then 51 they're total shit.
Right.
I'm saying they're starting. You're starting to see some wear after 50 plays.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we definitely, as a community of buyers, it's important that we do push for environmentally friendly procedures. For sure.
That and something that, look, I mean, 50, 60, 70 years from now, like I said before, you might not be able to get PVC.
Right.
Polyvinyl chloride might be something that just is unattainable.
Then again, there might be something better.
That's what I'm saying. So why not? Why? I'm glad to see that some companies are
looking outside the box.
And seeing if there's something else that can be done. But like I said, if there's any kind of sacrifice to the sound of the record, though, it's just not going to sell. You're not going to sell it to. I mean, even the kale eaters probably won't go out there and buy it just because it's environmentally friendly.
I wonder if there's anything to because I know that they're starting to make.
No offense to kale eaters, but
some offense. Like our water bottles, plastic water bottles are making out of plant matter.
Okay.
So they're more biodegradable.
Okay.
I wonder if there's something there that could be done with vinyl too.
Okay.
Because if it's plastic, it's plastic.
Yeah, but also if it's biodegradable, what kind of long-term longevity will the album be able to hold?
That's true. That's true.
I don't know, but it's definitely interesting to see where the music industry is going, or production side of the music industry is going with the whole vinyl.
I guess the thing that we should call out for is let's not jam up the landfills with records again. I mean, that was done 30 years ago. Let's not do that again. If you walk in, if you have a family member and they've got a record collection and they've died on you or whatever, fucking sell.
Hopefully they didn't die on you. That'd be scary.
You know what I mean? They're gone. They're no longer amongst the living.
Yeah.
Don't just throw the records out.
Yeah.
The day of just throwing records out, that's done and over with. Take them somewhere. If you can't get anything for them, just leave them.
Yeah.
Because someone will buy it for 50 cents.
There was on one of those Facebook groups I'm part of, there was a guy on there that was actually talking about that recently. Not someone dying, but he said when CDs took off, in the late 80s through the early 90s, he said he threw out all of his vinyl. He said he had 3,000 or 4,000 records
right,
he threw
and
away.
A lot of people did. I mean, we've talked ourselves about how our parents threw our vinyl out.
Yeah.
So let's not do that again. That's number one first start.
Yeah.
You walk in, like I said, your kids go off to college and they're not paying their bills right, or they end up in jail. Sell the records. Sell them. Don't get rid of them. Just don't throw them out.
And real quick before we go, there was another story on there. Speaking of just leaving it, there was a guy, I don't know where this was at. It had to be somewhere where the weather wasn't really shitty, but it was definitely in the U.S. He came across like an abandoned house, and just like kind of going through whatever, and found thousands and thousands of records categorized. Wow. So obviously this was someone's personal.
This house is abandoned?
Yeah, I guess the guy had died a couple years earlier, and his family just let the house rot, and it's got 10, 15,000 records in this house, and he's like been going back to this. Just like a year, he's been going back and forth to this house and pulling as much.
If it was one of us who found that place, we would literally stay there until we went through the entire catalog or died trying. We wouldn't just leave and come back. We'd be like, nope, that might not be here tomorrow.
Yeah, but he was posting pictures on the Facebook
on the Book of Face.
Yeah, of the way this house looked. I mean, you could tell people have been like living in it. They're just shit everywhere.
I'm surprised the homeless people didn't think to take it and sell it for drug money.
I don't know.
Huh.
But it was interesting. I was like, I couldn't believe
crazy people using it.
Now,
for
granted, like a lot of the stuff he was pulling out of there, I've never even fucking heard of.
Right.
Or would
well, if there's that many, if there's over 500 records there's a good chance a lot of it you haven't heard of.
Yeah, but it was really cool. Like and I guess he found old pictures, and somehow he found out the story of the guy that lived there. I don't know if you'd like talk to family members or whatever
neighbors
it was,
or whatever
neighbors, but I don't know. It was really kind of cool.
Technically, the family still owned all that stuff, so he kind of stole it from them, even if they did neglect it and leave it to rot. I mean, it has to be owned by somebody, otherwise the city would have taken it over and auctioned it off.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Well, I don't know. Maybe he got permission from them to take the stuff out. But
yeah, maybe. It makes sense. If they didn't care, they didn't care.
They didn't care. He obviously, the way that house looked, no one had cared for quite a few years.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but it was like really kind of cool. Like the the closets opened up, and it's like everything. He just posted all these pictures. Like these cabinets had to have been specially made for his record collection. It's really kind of cool. But I don't know. That's all I got, Ian.
Me too. Hey, yeah. I feel I've made an exceptional contribution to this episode, and I did so with 0 notes.
Well, I mean, this is the 82nd episode, so you've done that for like
I know I'm
75 episodes,
at least,
probably.
Yeah, at least. So
no, there has been a couple episodes you've come with. There's probably more than 7 episodes you've come to with notes.
Well,
maybe not.
All right, we'll say benefit of the doubt 10.
Okay,
that I've come with notes.
Okay,
but still, the volume of episodes that I've come without notes far outweighs the ones I have come with, and thereby making me somewhat of an expert at maintaining a conversation for however long we've been talking.
About an hour and 20, almost an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, so a full length show, and for the vast majority of it, I kind of sound like I know what I'm talking about.
So my wife was kind of giving me a bunch of grief recently.
Yeah.
About how I bully you.
You bully me?
Yeah, about not having notes. And I'm like, well, Mandy, come on.
No. See,
I said that's
you give me shit.
I said that's our shtick. Yeah. It's like
you give me shit for you give me shit for not having notes. You don't bully me.
Yeah.
You're not like giving me wedgies or dunking my head in the toilet because I didn't bring fucking notes.
Purple nurples.
Right. I don't feel bullied. And I guess there's the 21st century version of bullying, and that just means anything negative.
Yeah, anything negative.
But
I don't know if she really did say bullying, but she said I'd give you too much shit about it.
I'm used to it. In fact, if you're not giving me shit, you're probably not talking to me.
I think I give everyone shit.
Yeah, you do.
Regardless.
Yeah. You're a bit of an asshole.
So speaking of nipple twisting, if you got any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@lifeingeneralpodcast.com. Check us on social media. It had absolutely nothing to do with nipples.
No, it was a terrible segue.
Done intentionally. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter and all that, and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Right?
Yes.
After episode 80, go back and listen to the end of episode 80. You'll understand all that.
Yeah. Or don't. Just keep listening.
Yes.
It'll be there every time.
Yes. Keep listening and leave us 5-star reviews. Yeah. Yes. Well, all right, Ian. Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Playing my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you 2 cobras, you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, the niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bro. We taking the dub, hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon. Oh shit. Watch out.